Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast, Inspire with me, Pratik Pai. Today, we have a very special guest joining us, a talented individual whose artistry through the lens has captured the world's beauty in the most mesmerizing ways. Please help me extend a warm welcome to a very dear friend of mine, Mayur Narangikar, an exceptional photographer whose work has inspired countless souls. In this interview, we will dive into the artistic journey, passion for his photography, and gain insights into the most unique perspectives of capturing moments that leave us breathless. So, without further ado, let's dive into the fascinating world of photography with Mayur Narangikar. Also, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to stay tuned for more such inspiring conversations like this one. Thank you. So, Mayur, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Could you share something about your journey as a photographer and how did you get into this industry? Because I believe there are a lot of aspirants these days who want to be a photographer, who actually buy a DSLR but actually don't know how to use it. How did you make sure that you know your things right? What was the early days as a Mayur
Okay.
Narangikar 10 years before? How did you start
Yeah.
in this industry?
See, I do not have a formal education into photography. So the way I started was very different. I joined a local photography club here. I randomly Googled types of photography and came across different genres. Then I shortlisted whatever genres I find interesting, be it birding, wildlife, product. So every week, let's say every week, I had given myself a target that let's try one genre of photography, or maybe attend a photo walk, or maybe attend a workshop. So there are a lot of small workshops or photo walks that happen around.
Okay.
I used to go and attend something related to every genre.
Like a do it yourself.
Yeah. So let's say I did a macro or a birding workshop.
Okay.
Around. So we hiked a little here and there and seeing people lying on the ground trying to take pictures of a small insect. Right? Like, what are these people shooting? So this was something that I was like, no, I don't want to do this.
Okay.
So the next week I used to try a different thing, like trying different genres. So over a period of time, I had shortlisted to, let's say, 3 or 4 things. That wildlife is something that interests me, products is something that interests me, fashion is something that interests me, working with models or executing a story, editorial story, or a fashion story is something that interests me. Then I narrowed it down to that.
Okay.
And then I again started shooting onto those specific categories. That how is this shot taken? Let me try doing that. So I tried taking pictures
So
that way.
it was like a self-learning curve.
Yeah, it was
to
yes.
mentor you as such, right?
Yeah, no one was there to mentor me, but I mean, this is pretty much the way I learned. I mean, I remember one week I was shooting with a friend of mine. So we used to shoot at either his place or my place at the end of the day. So a lot of queries had come around one picture of mine wherein there's this inverted, I mean, there's a liquid popping out in a particular way.
Okay.
From a bottle. And everyone was very curious about how is this done. So we just randomly put on a questionnaire that what do you think has been done. A lot of people said different things about it. Someone said you've blasted the bottle. Someone says you've done it in posts, or
Okay.
different perceptions of everyone.
Yeah.
What we had done was a very simple thing. We had just turned the bottle upside down, let the liquid flow out of, and just turned the picture
Okay.
the other way. To everyone, it was like something that is, it turned out to be a very good picture, definitely.
Okay.
But that is something that you will have to work your way around. It is simple common sense that you just have to turn a picture around. So every week I used to do different workshops or photo walks, and that is how I identified my way, that I want to do photography into these 3-4 parts. The major change that happened was when I was working on a fashion story. I wanted to pull together one fashion story, and no, because this is one genre which involves a lot of people. So you have to reach out to a makeup artist, hair artist, stylist, model, and then when you are starting out, people do not
know you as
either they don't know you or they don't believe in your work, because there's technically nothing that you have on board with you,
right?
Like something that this is my work, but so let's shoot together kind of a thing. Luckily I just put everything together. I called up few people that I am a photographer. I am starting out, and this is something that I want to do.
Okay.
So would you be interested in being on board? And so we did that shoot. It turned out to be amazing. And during that shoot, I knew that this is the process that I enjoy the most, because there is this story in my head which I am bringing to reality. And I enjoyed that process a lot. That is when I decided that I want to
try
do
this.
this.
You chose that
This genre
of
into photography. Yes.
beauty and
Correct.
How did you enter this industry of photography,
Hmm.
and what made you actually change your thinking and be the way you are?
Okay. So, with respect to what made me change what I was doing, I started as a photographer. It was never a planned move. I did my BSc. So first year I did my BSc. For the first year, I decided that this is not something that I want to do. So I dropped that. I told my parents about this, that this is not what I want to do. And media or advertising or the film industry has definitely been a lot of interest to me. There's always this glamorous side of the industry which everyone's driven
Knows
to.
about.
Yes. So I also am someone who was driven to it and wanted to know more, or maybe be a part of the industry. So during this fascination of yours, I took a graduation course called BMM, Bachelor's in Mass Media. So I started doing BMM, and that is what changed a lot of things for me. So I got acquainted to a camera, and according to my friends, I was doing a good job at taking pictures and conveying a story.
Right.
So that appreciation also helped me a lot to try different things. So I then, after that, when I got acquainted with the camera, I was interning also alongside.
Okay.
At a production in famous studio. I was working with a production. They used to do ads which run on TV.
Okay.
So I was interning with them. I used to go there, and I also then wanted to be a cinematographer.
Right.
During that process of interning at the production, I figured out that getting into film is a longer process. Like, I would have to complete my graduation, then join a film school. There's the best which India offers right now is Pune Film and Television Institute. So they have a 4-year course to it.
Okay.
Post that, you do a 2-month assistantship with people, and after that you begin your journey of being a cinematographer. Depends on how good work you get. So I just randomly calculated that, and it turned out to be almost a decade of learning. Yes.
Okay. So is that the primary reason for you to choose photography over
Yes, I will.
videography?
Yes, I will say that that was a primary reason to choose photography, because it's also the time which would have been taken up during education, but also the cost incurred in learning.
True.
This as a medium is a very expensive medium.
Right.
So I think I did not have the privilege to go around a decade without earning anything. On the other hand, photography seemed to be a very easy medium compared to cinematography. Gradually, once you get into photography, and then you also can divert your way towards cinematography. That is what I thought about it, and also have thoughts about moving towards being a cinematographer.
Okay, great.
So, which is why I moved to photography. Now, I wanted to explore photography different ways. That what is it that could be interesting to you, or what you are good at. So I joined a local photography club in Thane called Photo Circle, and they used to do weekly workshops or monthly workshops. Then there used to be random photo walks happening around your locality. Bombay.
So you're not what do you say? You're not taken any formal education.
No, I haven't taken any.
It's a self-learned experience that you have. Wow,
yes, whatever I've done my graduation into mass media.
Right.
Advertising is my graduation.
Okay.
So there's no formal photography course that
you're done. But I guess recently I passed out from Symbiosis. I believe Symbiosis has today
Symbiosis does have
a dedicated course or a degree in photography.
Yes. Right. I think they've come up in the past few years with that. I think when I was starting out, there were a couple of institutes which were offering photography as a course. That would be
like a diploma or kind of like a course, like a course in photography, something like that.
So they would call it a diploma, but then those institute didn't hold any technical
They don't add anything in your CV if at all you're
Yeah,
posting
if
it to your
if it
portfolio.
has to go out on my CV, it would never say it. It wasn't a recognized university that
University,
this
yes.
offers photography specifically. When you compare it to international institutes like there's
Okay.
Brooks or there are other United Arts of London, and these are prestigious universities which have specific dedicated photography courses which are recognized worldwide. So
Right.
there's nothing. There wasn't anything in India at that point of time, and with that it also adds up to monetary
True. Again, the cost comes
cost and
wherein it's too
everything that
expensive for you
yes,
to do.
yes.
Great.
So I then started doing this very locally with local photography
Do you
clubs. Or
remember what was your first project? Any dedicated project that you handled on your own? Something like
I
you did a
remember.
portfolio for somebody or something like
Yes,
that?
yes. I My first project was a portfolio. There's this college friend of mine, Aditi. She wanted to be an actor. She
Oh,
she did a few regional serials as well. So her project was my commercial first project, is what I can remember of.
nice.
Definitely.
So did you? I mean, what was your experience, and do you hold it close till date? Is that one of your good shots that you took, or things evolved after that? You took experience from that, and
Mhm.
how did things evolve for you? Did that was the breakthrough for you?
No, that
Did
I
that make
wouldn't call
circles?
that as a breakthrough, but then I have been learning and always have been on a learning curve over a period of time. So with photography or with whatever imagery that you create, there will always be a point when you are in love with those pictures for that period of time. After that, you know that there are some things that you need to work on or you want to work on particular imagery. You keep on growing, constantly keep on evolving, and so your favorite set of picture also keeps on
True.
changing.
So, I mean, I've seen your portfolio on Instagram.
Hmm.
You guys should check it out. What's your Instagram handle? It's
My
Mayur.
Instagram handle is Mayur
So
Narangikar.
you should check his Instagram handle. It's Mayur Narangikar. Fantastic shots. I've seen some of the good-looking models,
Hmm.
supermodels, Indian celebrities. How I mean, how do you manage to click pictures? How difficult is it? How easy is it? Does the value of a celeb make your life easier when it comes to photography? How does that work out for you?
So when it comes to making work easier for anyone, be it a celeb, be it a model, or be it anyone, uh, in that case, everyone needs to be no, or everyone needs to be educated about the fact that this is something that we are trying to achieve or create as an imagery.
Right.
That is the baseline. If
So
they
is there like some guidelines provided you by the campaign managers or the brands who are who I mean for whom you take up the
correct,
projects?
correct.
So is there some brand
Yes,
guidelines that you need to
definitely,
follow and
definitely.
get the pictures in the same way they have asked?
Definitely. So I'll divide this into two parts. One wherein there is a campaign related shoot happening, and other a very creative idea based shoot happening. When
Okay.
it comes to a campaign, either there is a brand involved or a celebrity involved or a model involved. In these cases, these brands have agencies who will chart out a mood board for them, or maybe have a very specific brief that the brand wants to follow.
Right.
So you in person can have inputs into that brief, but then there is a particular language that is given to you and you have to convey it
Convey.
through your pictures. That is what happens when it is related to a brand, or let's say a celebrity. It is always them as a brand or a celebrity who's going to be seen. On the other part, when it is a creative shoot, it is always 4 5 people, or let's say a group of people that you want to work together with over a simplest idea, or however complex an idea that can be. So what you will always do is you'll come together, you'll identify people who you think can deliver that as an
True.
output. You reach out to them if they agree to work onto that idea, because there may be times when what your idea is, they have something like that into their workbook or portfolio, so they won't be that interested into creating that same sort of imagery again.
Right.
So you will have to identify people who want something that you want to portray or want to bring to reality. They want to add it to your portfolio, then you sit together, you brainstorm that as an entire process. Once you've brainstormed that, everyone arrives at a mutual agreement that this is something that is my input towards this idea, this is what will look good, this is what will work onto this idea. And then when everyone has clarity about this is what we will be doing, this is our process of doing it, and this is what we are trying to achieve out
So
of
all
it.
this is the back work that goes
Yes,
behind
yes,
doing any
yes.
photo shoot or any campaign.
Yes.
Normally, what kind of factor, how long this process does it take?
So usually you can't put a timeline onto it. Whenever there's a creative shoot happening, you can't put a timeline on it, because there have been some shoots wherein we've sat for an hour, we shot the next day, and we've created beautiful imagery.
Okay.
And then there have been times also wherein people are not available, either they have their work commitments or personal commitments. So everyone sitting together and trying to come to a mutual conclusion where when you are working together towards it, everyone has to be happy that I am giving my time and
Sure.
effort into it, so there is something that I want to take back with me. So until you don't arrive at that point in your discussions or brainstorming or whatever concept you are working on, nothing goes ahead.
Of true. Yeah, everybody has to be on the same
Yes,
page, right?
yes,
Because it's a team effort.
definitely.
Even though you are the one who is holding the lens, holding the camera,
Yes.
clicking the pictures, but there is a team
Definitely,
around
definitely.
where a lot of work goes around it.
Yes, but I mean, I would definitely like to say I am the visual communication to whatever should be shown, but then to make that happen visually, it is those set of people also. There's makeup, there's hair, there's styling.
I was about
there's
to come on
model.
that.
Yeah.
So collaboration, I guess, is the word right now.
Correct.
Everybody does, do things and they collaborate, and that is how
Correct.
beautiful things come up, because everybody has their own set of expertise.
Definitely.
Right? And things evolve and progress in a way that you can't visualize on your own. When there is
Definitely.
a team with you who are experienced in their own
Correct.
fraternities, I guess there is a, what do you say, there's a brainstorming, there's a brain dumping that happens. There is a lot of collaboration that works around, and you get the beautiful results. So I guess lighting, composition, and there are various aspects that goes behind any photo shoot, right?
Definitely.
So like we discussed, like we were about to tell that there are so many factors that goes behind any project.
Correct.
So collaboration works in those ways. So
Correct.
how what all things does it take to do a successful campaign?
Okay.
And how do collaborations work? What all things does it include? So
okay. So collaboration basically is a set of people coming together to achieve or create an imagery, right, that everyone wants to add to their book. So there will be either someone reaches out with an idea. Let's say here I have an idea and I want to create an imagery. I will then reach out to different people who I think can achieve that output for me, or can,
because they have the expertise.
Correct. Right. Correct. As in, you also look at their previous work that they've done, and then you get an idea about if they can achieve it or not. Then you come together, maybe have a meeting over a Zoom call or in person, and then you discuss those ideas. If you still have doubts about a particular person, if they may be able to do the job or not, you either replace that person, or maybe you can always ask the person that if you could give me a small trial about how you are going to do this. If it gives you clarity, and it gives clarity to everyone, because your time and energy and effort is invested into it. So once you have clarity on that, then you go to maybe hiring a studio, or if it is an outdoor campaign like a thing, or maybe an outdoor kind of a shoot, that you then go hunt locations, and then again put together everything in a PDF and share it with everyone, that these are the locations, this is what the makeup should look like, this is what, and everyone should be informed about how it is going to look, what it is going to look like. So they know their roles. Correct. They are aware about what they have to do and execute it to the point. Correct. Or even it also can be a matter that if it is my idea, I am envisioning it in my head, but then others do not know that. So until and unless I convey it to other people how it is supposed to look, or how I want to get that. Yeah, they won't be able to get an idea about it. So that is what you will always have to do. You'll have to communicate with people about what your idea is, how you want it to look, what exactly are you expecting out of it, and then leave it to them to execute what you've conveyed to them. So basically, if I understand, you are the orchestrator when it comes to a campaign. You pull the strings, because or maybe there is a campaign director or a manager. I am not aware, but I think if you are the person behind the lens and you know how the picture is looking, I guess it would be you. You would be the better person to describe and discuss how the shoot has to be, what the model should look like, or what the surrounding should look like, what the lighting should be. Correct. So on that note, one thing that I would like to ask you is,
I mean, I have seen your pictures. We have seen celebrities. We have seen photo shoots of famous models, actors. How difficult or what kind of skill set is needed from the person who is shooting? Like, for example, are you the one who makes the actor look good, or does the actor really look good and you are just inframing it?
It is everyone's effort, I would call it in here, because whatever comes to me, let's try to understand the entire process. Let's say there is a model, or there is an actor, or there is an artist who we are trying to shoot. The artist has something that he or she wants to portray. They sit with the makeup hair team. They make them look a particular way. Let's say there's a demand for a character that needs to be shot.
Okay.
So they will try to create that character according to the brief that has been given to them, or maybe whatever it is in their head.
Right.
So once they are done with their part, it comes to styling. So the stylist also has to
work in sync with what
if he or she, this person is doing whatever character they are designing, they are doing justice to that character. Is it translating into reality the way everyone wants it to? So then everyone is responsible for creating it visually. When it comes to talking about pictures, yes, photographers always will be someone who will give that visual representation to people or the audience that they are looking at creating.
Right.
But it is not just one person effort, it is everyone's effort here.
So my next question to you is, taking images is one thing. I think these days post processing, editing the image, and with the evolution of AI, a lot of things have come up, right? So making a picture look a certain way is not that difficult a task. But what is your preference? Do you ensure the image that you click is the way you want, or is there something that really goes behind clicking the image and getting it processed for the final look?
Okay. So what I feel you're trying to ask here, let me divide this question very clearly. Either you want to be a photographer or a digital artist.
Okay.
That would be a better way to answer this question. Right. Because a photographer is someone who will try to create whatever has to be seen visually when a person is shooting. Like, I'm a photographer, I want things to look a certain way. I will try to achieve it when I'm shooting it. Minor tweaks, minor color corrections, maybe contrast, saturations, or let's say even blemishes, and something that is not taking attention away will be fixed in post. On the contrary, there are people who work very heavily with softwares. So let's say they will randomly take a picture and then convert it into something that they want to convey it to people. But then you then are not a photographer to me. Okay. So then you then become a digital artist or retoucher to me. Okay. So you will always have to identify what do you want to be. You want to learn you want to be a photographer or a digital artist who will sit back and then do everything in post. I think that very clearly would answer the photographer or digitally correcting images.
Are both similar to each other? I mean, do they work in sync, or is that a separate person who does this? I mean, do you do it, or is there somebody who does it for you?
I do it, but I am not a big fan of working on heavily touched up images. Okay. It is definitely not my style. I prefer very clean, minimalistic. Yes, that is more of my style. There definitely are people. It is nothing wrong to say that I have digitally worked on this image, but then it changes your entire idea about, is it photography or is it a digital software that you are working on? It is your way of achieving whatever you want to bring to reality. Right. My way, I would say, I would try to do it during my lighting, composition, angles. That is what I would prefer. Coming to your question about AI, currently I don't find it as a challenge, because you can definitely use AI. I mean, let's say people can use AI to visualize things, give them a visual representation, or give them a visual idea about what a certain thing or idea should look like, and then maybe work on to shooting or bringing it to reality. Not everything at the moment I feel can be achieved with AI. I've come across so many AI videos where there have been people telling you just put a picture into AI and it will
give generative you, recreating is something like, I guess Photoshop has come up with this. So generative
lot of apps.
Generative fill, wherein you just describe what you want and things actually make it look like. So if you selected your vest and if you say that change it to a shirt or maybe a t-shirt, so that is what the Photoshop has been doing.
Correct.
So do you think this has created a rift in the industry? Is that kind of a distress signal for this industry, wherein natural photographers who prefer everything has to be in their hand and things evolving and emerging so drastically, do you think that this will create some issues for your industry?
Right now, I don't think it is. I mean, there are a lot of debates about it, definitely, yes. But I personally don't think it would create a rift or a drastic change. Firstly, because it is something that you can use to give you ideas or give you a reference about whatever brief you've given it is going to look like.
that.
But again, it is also a collective data collection analysis which is putting it. So it might look something very beautiful, but is it something that you want? That is what you will always have to answer when it comes to AI.
It's a balance where you need to maintain both.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I mean, I've come across a lot of people saying you put a picture into this AI and it will change the background for you. And a lot more has been said about that. But to put that picture into that AI, you need a specific quality output picture that will maybe remove the background, replace the background, change the color. So again, it comes back to basics that you need to have a good picture. You cannot randomly just go ahead and give it a command, and it may change, let's say, over a period of 5 or 10 years. It may refine it, but at the moment, I don't think that should be a challenge.
Great. So, yeah. Also, I mean, how long have you been in this industry? How long have you been?
So I
10, 12 years?
No, not 10, 12 years. I mean, I have a very different aspect to it. I always count with the years that I'm working. So I do not want to count COVID and demonetize. Those years I do. If I'm counting
we'll come to that. But yeah, so roughly around
7, 8 years, definitely. Yes.
So, what is the term or what is the genre of photography that you do? What do you call yourself when somebody asks you what is your genre of photography?
So I call myself a beauty and commercial photographer. Beauty is related to skin or beauty products.
Okay.
So that is what beauty is to me. Commercial is anything that comes around with, let's say, ad campaigns, magazines, designers, actors. So it covers a larger commercial part, covers a larger part, but I call myself a beauty and commercial photographer.
So basically, what I want to ask is, since you have been in the industry for so many years, you must have seen a trend shift that has happened in this industry, right? So how did you manage to upskill yourself? Was there a learning curve? Did you do any courses, or was there some upskilling that you need to do on your own? Because obviously there are a lot of aspirants, a lot of guests of ours who would like to understand and know how did you manage to keep up in this industry.
So yes, definitely a lot has changed over the years. I mean, when I was interning and assisting, film hadn't completely gone out of the picture when.
Oh, you mean
filming using films for shooting.
Physical.
Yes.
What do you call those things?
Film negatives. Yeah, you can call it a negative. So films still were a part then, but the industry definitely had moved to digital.
Okay.
Digital as in to sense cameras with sensors. So the film was replaced with a sensor. So that was a drastic change to a lot of people. I've not been a part of it because I started shooting on sensor cameras. So that one transition I've seen how a lot of people couldn't adapt to it. So adaptation, evolving to these constant changing mediums will always have to be there when it comes to being a part of this profession. So me being a part, let me say sensor being a part or digital camera being a part. Over the years of 6-7 years, this industry drastically changed now to mirrorless cameras.
Oh yeah.
So right now it is mirrorless cameras which is taking charge of the industry. So again, it is a shift. There is again a lot of debate between mirror and mirrorless cameras. I personally prefer mirror sensors. I'm not a big fan of mirrorless camera because each has its own ups and downs to it. So this is one transition of
way photography has evolved.
That has evolved. This is one when it comes to technicalities. Visually, when I have to speak about this, I will always say a lot has changed over the years because orientation wise a lot changed. When I say orientation, if you remember as a kid, there used to be a fixed size, let's say 4 by 5 or 8 by 10. But then it came into a fixed orientation, only the sizing would change.
True.
So be it
The resolution was same, only
the sizing
of
sizing
the
orientation
image
is
change.
what I'm talking about.
True.
So be it portrait or be it landscape, that print which you had in your hand, if you hold it vertical, it is portrait. You hold it horizontal,
landscape.
it becomes landscape. Now, with prints not being that prominent for now, and platforms like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube for that matter, taking charge, you have to keep all these platforms into mind when you are shooting, because everyone has their own specific orientation. Let's say if I want to put up pictures onto Instagram, so if I want to do a post, it has to be a square orientation. If it is in a story, it has to be a different 16 by 9 orientation. So before, when I used to shoot, my orientation never changed. It would be my final angles. It is just the printing. Either it would be portrait or landscape.
Okay.
That is what majorly would change. When it comes to today's date, I today when I'm shooting, I always keep in mind that okay, my pictures have to be adapted to different platforms. So let's say if I'm doing a commercial campaign, my pictures have to go onto hoardings. Each hoarding is a different size. So I have to keep in mind that my pictures need to be adapted for that as a platform. When it comes to Instagram, my pictures have to go in a square format also, and also a vertical 16 by 9 format also. If my pictures are supposed to go on a Facebook post, that is a different orientation again. Or let's say there is a Facebook banner that is happening. So that is a different type. So right now when I'm shooting, I won't shoot my composition as a final one. I will always shoot a wider angle so that my picture gets adapted into all these platforms.
Right.
So this is what has definitely changed over a period of time.
So that this is how you evolved yourself and kept your composition on a broader prospect, so that it could be used wider everywhere.
Yes, it could be adapted everywhere. And the third perspective to changes or drastic changes that have been a part of this industry is with being onto these platforms, it is this constant race of creating content versus you wanting to create a specific content. So you will have to always bifurcate that this is my idea and this is how I've portrayed it, and then you put it up, compared to an algorithm is asking me to be constantly onto an app, so I constantly need to create something. So I feel that the race then moves towards quality over quantity kind of a race.
But you are not in the game of quantity. I believe it is more of like a
yes,
quality,
definitely,
because it depends on the kind of campaigns or the brand collabs or the kind of company portfolios that you shoot. So I guess your job is more on quality.
Yes,
bringing
definitely
more on the quality.
But then for these platforms where your work needs to be seen, or let's say not seen but trying to be more relevant, you constantly have to be
in the social media.
Yes, this race where you are constantly creating something or the other. So be it behind the scenes picture, be it your final picture, or giving people an insight into how your shoot goes. So there is this constant race to just to feel relevant.
True.
So you will have to pick that, do I want to be a part of this, do I want to do this, and then.
But is there even an option for photographers or digital creators these days? Because I guess everything has to be there on the internet, right? I guess there are earlier it used to be physical photographs or portfolios that models used to carry for themselves, or even photographer for that matter. But these days everything is digital, right? We have Behance, we have Dribble. Instagram itself is a platform these days for a lot of creators to display their artwork. So only the point you being said that it is more of quantity. I mean, this, for other people, it might be more quantity wise.
Correct.
Like you do a lot of photo shoot, a lot of work, and then display it, other than you being like quality over what you display. Because obviously there are customers for everybody. I mean, that is what I think.
Absolutely.
In a country or in a market like India, everybody has a customer. So it's not like everybody is looking out there who is doing a lot of work. There are customers or clients who look at quality work, and I guess you make that part very well. You differentiate yourself, because you have seen that you worked with Jimmy Shergill, right? Recently, I saw one of.
I worked with a lot of celebrities.
I guess one of the photo shoot has seen that she's the Lamborghini girl.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Harshada.
Harshada.
Mm.
So Harshada Vijay, right?
Mm.
So a lot of clients that we have been doing are like top notch. I mean, these
Okay.
guys are
Yeah.
they are the best in the industry.
Mm.
They're in the face in the Bollywood
Mm.
where actually everybody would like to
Work with them. Yeah.
right? So is there something in this industry, because I was coming, we were discussing on that point. You are not really happy with the way the things I mean happened in the COVID
Correct.
industry. On the contrary, there were a lot of social media influencers that actually evolved, emerged, and did absolutely. I mean, they were mind blowing.
Correct.
The growth scale was rapid when it was COVID. But why? What made you? I mean, we were discussing this earlier. But what made you say this, that things were not that great for photographers? What actually didn't happen? Why this industry failed during that period?
So when it comes to commercially working onto, let's say, people making ads, people making films, people making daily soaps, or people doing photography, this industry was shut for a very long time. Let's say whatever lockdown period it was, 9 months, 10 months, was a strict lockdown. And things started opening up with restrictions. This industry in itself opened up post that lockdown about a year and a half. So there wasn't a lot of commercial work happening for about 2.5 years, which is why a lot of artists, or let's say directors, hair, makeup, stylists, productions, all these people suffered huge losses. A lot of them are out of market also.
Okay.
On the contrary, this place got replaced or was taken over by social media influencers, for that matter, because they were providing content. And again, it takes a village to create like a set.
True.
So that production scale got downsized when it comes to influencers, and their content is very instant. I mean, when you are shooting a campaign or you shooting a story, there is a big process involved.
True.
Let's say everyone sits together, plans everything, done. You shot, then things go to post, then you plan how your marketing campaign goes around it. So it is a time consuming process. During COVID or during lockdown, a lot of influencers emerged, and the best part about that was everything was very quick. What There are people who had very instant reactions or instant storytelling ideas with respect to however their style of work is. So what they used to do is they'll create or shoot their content and put it up.
Everything was mobile actually.
Yeah. So
I guess social media influencers these days have come up to DSLRs or maybe digital cameras after reaching to a certain level of production that they bring to their portfolio. But in the early days, I think everything was mobile shot, and things were. I think that is the freedom, I guess, these influencers have over professional photographer. You like
Definitely,
because there is,
yes.
like you said, it takes a village to build.
Correct.
I read it somewhere in an interview. That Prajakta Kohli, her Instagram handle, and she's famously known as Mostly Sane. She's worked in a lot of Bollywood movies these days. She told and has credited you for setting her studio in her early days or helping her with some of her projects when she was vlogging on YouTube and she was a very newcomer in the market. So how did that happen? I mean, I'm curious that how did that work out for you guys, and how did you help her in shaping up her career, because she's just doing great for herself today, and Prajakta Kohli itself is a brand, right? So yeah, I would like to know that.
So Prajakta is a very good friend. We have been in the same college together. She's a couple of years junior to me. A very great person, very inspirational person to learn a lot of things from. Not setting up a studio for her, but when she started her channel, a lot of us friends, she very clearly mentions that these are people who helped me. My part was taking pictures, or maybe how something could look visually. There are different other friends of from the same group who would help her with hair and makeup. Someone who should help her with making videos. She herself used to edit. So it was a fun kind of a process. Now the scale that she's grown to, it now has turned towards a very big production value, I would say. But
she's a brand on her
own. She's a very inspirational person to work along.
Okay. So coming to next point. So like you are a professional photographer. Also, is there some special Mayur Narangikar shots or some angle that you do? Because I mean, every artist has to have a signature move, right? Like there is something special about every artist that only he can perform. Like Ram Gopal Verma has a low angle shot, or Christopher Nolan for his some amazing wide angle shots. So how does Mayur Narangikar stand out from the rest? Is there something that you do differentiates you from the rest? We'd like to know.
Then I won't say a specific shot, but then I feel I am very strong with beauty portraits when it comes to your style of shooting. Uh, I mean, people can recognize my work looking at my beauty portraits, that this is something which
Okay, only
is,
Mayur can shoot.
this is
Okay.
Mayur's shot.
Okay, great. So also I have this great fascination for the term entrepreneur. I am just amazed by how that work helps you, motivates you, or kind of pushes you to a limit and do something of your own. So I mean, I would call you an entrepreneur. Do you call yourself an entrepreneur? Because photography itself is a business, right? There are so many aspects to it. Uh, there is so many departments that you need to handle to bring out a campaign successfully. So how do you manage to keep yourself motivated, or how did you keep yourself upskilled in this business, so that you are in the market, you stand out from the rest, and you deliver things on time with the same efficiency, so that your clients are happy, the all the stakeholders in your business are happy. So yeah, I would like to discuss that as well.
See, this is a very demanding market, firstly. And secondly, this is a constantly evolving market. Things keep on changing. So you have to always be on your toes and be open to the learning curve. If you are not open to that, then it will be very difficult to. So maybe when I started into this profession, I would have been very stuck with, no, this is only how I want to do a particular thing, no, this is only. But then gradually over a period of time, you try to understand that, no, this is what the market demands right now, so you will have to adapt around it. And if you are not going to be open to that learning curve or even adapting to that, then I feel you might just disappear somewhere from the market.
So Mayur, what is the next big project that you're working on? Any surprises for us?
No surprises, but then I'm planning to come up with workshops.
Okay, nice.
So that is definitely there. Smaller workshops, definitely.
So who can participate? So maybe our audience can.
Yeah,
listen
definitely
to it.
yes, definitely yes. These are for people who want to make a shift from being a hobbyist to make it a profession.
Okay.
So maybe someone who's into that transition and wants to get an insight. So for those people, I
So
would
it is like for
definitely
anybody
yes,
who wants to be enter the industry
correct,
of being
and
a professional photographer.
correct.
So are there any requirements, like do they need to
No,
have any equipment,
no.
or will that be all taught when you take the workshop with them?
Oh, yeah, I'll definitely be sharing insights onto that. But I do not come with any specific
Set of requirements.
You need to have a certain camera. You need to have know that, because when I started out, I never had these things.
Right.
So it is either I would ask a friend who had a camera, like, hey, I want to shoot this. Will you lend me your camera? That is how I started, and then I am not someone who's very rigid onto I need this only. Whatever it is, we'll work things around, because also this is for people who are trying to figure things
Sure.
out. I mean, today or tomorrow, when whatever timeline my workshop is, if I say that if you want to attend my workshop, you need to have specific equipment. It doesn't work that way.
So as you mentioned, that you are taking a workshop for beginners, right, who want to enter into this industry, is there any specific skill set or any key element that is needed for anybody to master this skill of photography? Because you need to have an edge, right, to do something, or to stand out from the rest. Is there something that you would point out, that if this is the certain factor or the X factor you have, would definitely help you becoming a professional photographer or enter this industry as a professional career?
So during my early days, I used to talk to a lot of senior photographers or mentors about what can I do, what can I do. So everyone has this question, how do I do it? Everyone used to say, shoot a lot.
Okay.
It is practice to be.
So take a lot of photographs.
Yeah, take a lot of pictures about, or trying to identify this is my style, or trying to generate a style is what everyone means by keep shooting a lot. So you will have to constantly keep shooting a lot and try to find your style around it. Once
Okay.
you identify your style, you try to refine that style.
Okay.
So when someone says you keep shooting, what they try to mean is they try to form a style for yourself or identify a style for yourself. Once you know this is what my style is, and whenever you are posting pictures, people then start identifying, this is something that looks like his work
Right. So, like,
or
you need
her
to have
work.
an edge around
Yeah.
it.
So once
Makes
you
your work different than the rest.
correct. So once you've identified your style, try working on refining your style. So
Okay.
that is what needs to be done. I mean, it can involve taking pictures every day,
Mhm.
or maybe give a couple of hours a day, couple of hours a week. But then you will dedicatedly have to work towards improving and identifying what is missing and how can you add to your work.
So I have this a very tricky question for you. I have read this, I've searched this a lot also because for my podcast I was doing my research. So what do you think? Can iPhone replace a DSLR when it comes to a professional shoot or a professional photography? Because there are a lot of technical aspects to it which you are certainly aware of. But when it comes to creating a final output, can iPhone deliver the same results that a DSLR can? What is your take on it? Obviously, it's debatable, but I would like to know what is your take on it.
See, I this is a debatable topic, and
What
it
is your take?
goes
I want
goes
your
on.
honest
My
opinion.
take to it is, it has definitely changed a lot into the industry. I mean, there were people who used to shoot with cameras. A lot of them have moved to smaller cameras either, or maybe a lot of them are creating content through their phone. It is always what is the demand for that matter. Let's say there's some influencer or some promotion which requires to be shot on phone and doesn't need a lot of
Bigger
people to
setup.
work around that, then definitely, I mean, phone wins there, because there's a lot of infrastructure and a lot of people involved, so that it automatically moves them out of the picture. So my take on it definitely is that uh, currently your phone can give you a lot of inspiration or make your work easier. I mean, let's say if I'm just walking by the street trying to identify locations that I want to pick for my shoot,
Okay.
rather than walking around with a full
Videos.
DSLR
You can take it
with
with the
different
mobile.
lenses, I just have to pull out my phone from my pocket, try different angles, and identify these are locations. So you'll have to balance it out.
Both.
Yeah.
So coming to our next question, it's a trick question. So what is the good thing about this industry that you like the most?
It gives you the freedom to create what you are thinking and bring those thoughts to reality. That is the best thing. I mean, it gives you your way of telling what the story is.
And what is the bad thing, or not bad thing, but certainly one thing that you like to definitely change about this industry as a whole, or your fellow members would certainly appreciate you taking this call in this interview.
I mean, this collaboration scene, I don't know if that needs to be changed or not, but then a lot of people expect you to work for free.
Oh.
So I personally, I have also been into this. Let's try working around, but then I feel it is
Actually, I'm surprised that people do expect you to work
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
free.
People do expect that, and I feel there are, if I deny it, there are few other people who will always say that yes, I will do it. So maybe there has to be a fair remuneration. Let Even if it is an hour's job, it is taking
True.
people's
And
time, effort,
one
everything.
thing, so there is a famous saying, right? If you're good at something, never do it for free, because there is a lot of efforts, a lot of hardships that has gone behind creating the master, or you being the subject matter expert in your profession. That's taken certain level of expertise, time, energy, resources, and that cannot be really valued in terms of money, because it is you come with certain expertise that nobody else can, right? So I recently saw an podcast of Gajraj Rao. So he was famously known for his role in Badai Ho. So he was in a podcast with Varun Dugirala. I love his show. I mean, everybody should watch that episode particularly. So Gajraj Rao was mentioning about uh, his his work, how things evolved for him, how things changed after his movie Badai Ho, and he got acknowledged for the kind of work that he has put in. So eventually, he was mentioning that when he was approached for the next projects, some of the campaign directors or the movie production houses were complaining that sir आप बहुत difficult हो, आप ज़्यादा charge कर रहे हो, 20 दिन का ही तो काम है. So he so cleverly mentioned that मैं 20 दिन का चार्ज ले ही नहीं रहा हूँ, वो तो मैं फ्री में कर रहा हूँ. बिकॉज ये जो मैं चार्ज कर रहा हूँ वो मेरे 20 साल की जो मेहनत है, जो मैं इतने चाय पे मैंने मेरे दिन गुजारे, बिना खाए मैं सोया हूँ, मैं मुंबई से टाउन चल के आया हूँ. I was speechless, and actually it connected with me as well, because we all have struggled to our lives, all have done our hardship, and if somebody doesn't acknowledge for the work you put in, actually it puts you in a spot that you can't really explain it in any other words. So I actually want to tell this to all our members, listeners, also to the fraternity, to photography industry to which Mayur belongs, that let's acknowledge the work and the hardship and the efforts that these guys put in, and let's not ask them to work for free, because this is not what they have signed up for, right? They have put in their effort, they have put in their hard work, they have invested so many years of themselves to bring up to a stage where they are working today, and this certainly deserves credit, where and it has to be given due. So yeah, that is what I believe in. Sorry for me taking your point and putting out to the public, but this is what I really believe in, and all should acknowledge that fact.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is not a very easy or this is a very expensive medium to be in.
True.
It takes a lot of investment into different uh, equipments and also learning skill. So it is a very expensive medium. So someone expecting you to do it for free, I feel I've outgrown that
It's
part
good that you've
at the
done.
moment.
I hope the industry also does.
I would request people to identify
That is as good as like asking supermodels to work for free, because
Yeah.
सारे photo तो मैं खींच रहा हूँ.
Uh-huh.
So that, I mean,
they see, there is this term called collaboration,
but they have taken it
but
the
you
wrong
don't.
way.
Yeah, please
It's
do
like you're
not
working for barter.
exploit people for under
True.
the term collaboration.
So we were discussing about supermodels, right? So you have worked with a lot of supermodels, celebrities, Indian celebrities, or maybe people outside, like supermodels that are from other countries. What kind of challenges do you face? Is there a structure that you follow when you are working or planning to work with supermodels or celebrities?
Okay, so again, for this question, we'll have to divide it into different parts. One,
I like
being-
the way you're putting it, because you're so systematic about everything. You want to
Yeah.
divide these things like
yeah.
it.
So what happens is, whenever it is a brand related shoot, they come with their brief. It is you who have to understand that language and convey it through your pictures. So there's nothing that you are going to do about it. When it comes to models, the biggest challenge, the challenge which I faced is communication, because there are a lot of models who've been finalized for a job,
Okay.
and it is either their first day, second day, or first week in India. They are not familiar
you mean
with.
to say not from India?
Not from India.
Okay, so you have been working with supermodels who are out of
Yeah,
India?
definitely. We've been
So how
working.
comfortable are they working in India with Indian photographers, or maybe in Indian sets? How do you ensure that they are comfortable? Because I guess that is one thing. Like people on the set, I guess I'm pretty sure they are very comfortable with these guys. But how are models? How you ensure that the team is very well grounded when it comes to this kind of people?
So see, everyone on board is a professional, so they know how to conduct themselves on a set. So a lot of part already is taken care of from the person who's a part of the set. When it comes to certain people who do not know their way around, you will always have to guide them, tell them, or inform them about, see, these are things, these are how things will happen.
Okay.
So you will have to do that. When it comes to challenges with models and celebrities, challenges which I faced are communication being the biggest. Like, let's say there's a model who's landed on my set, and it is her first day in India or second day in India, or let's say it is her first week in India. It is, and she doesn't know English.
Do you have any particular?
Yeah.
Okay.
There have been a lot of
Same
times
here.
wherein people do not know. I mean, I am trying to convey something to them. They are trying to understand
So
what
they don't
I
even
am.
understand English.
Yeah,
Is what the basic
yeah.
issues.
Because let's say there is a particular look that a model needs to look a particular way, has to be a certain way she has to look, let me say. So if they've hired them from some other country or some other, so she's here, but then she doesn't know the local language.
True.
To begin with. Or let's say English being an acceptable language around, she's not comfortable either understanding the language or speaking the language. Then that becomes a task, because you have to convey it to her or him that this is what I am expecting, or this is what the client is expecting. Now I am trying to explain it to them. What they interpret out of it and what they perform accordingly becomes a very difficult challenge.
Task.
But over the years, I feel Google Translate has been a very good option. We
you type it in.
Yeah, you type it in, pick their language, you pick your language, and then you communicate with each other. It becomes easier.
Okay.
But then communication definitely
has to be
there. And another thing too, when I'm bifurcating, when it comes to celebrities also, everyone comes with their entourage.
Right.
So let's say there's a different mood and feel to whatever you are creating. If someone's energy is too high or too low, you will have to maybe sit them down and tell them that this is what we are looking at. I mean, they might be doing a great job with whatever energy they bring to, but you will always have to respect what the concept is and brief them about this is what we are looking at. I mean, you're doing a great job, but this is not something that is doing justice to what is being needed. So you will have to do that. Okay. You will, however bigger a celebrity they might be, or however bigger art, if it is not doing justice to what you are working for, it will, I mean, you won't find it relatable.
Exactly. And so, they themselves won't be happy with the final
yes, absolutely. Output,
right?
Yeah. I mean, see, these
they are professionals.
Yes, these are certain issues which don't happen like every other day. A certain time when there is a little communication difference between what you are expecting and what they are trying to portray.
So Mayur, since you are a man with the lens, so I believe you have the power to display something that is going to be seen across the world. You have a power to shape up people's lives, right? Because your work is going to be seen in communities, across communities. So how do you see this as your social responsibility to ensure that you do justice to the work or the people around you? What is your take on it?
This definitely has an impact. I mean, I would like to share maybe how I take care of this as a social responsibility is not being biased firstly to begin with.
Yeah, because I think you must be working with models from different castes,
yes,
races, different
absolutely,
skin,
absolutely.
And that is actually what makes your work up. I mean, has that edge over other people because you like to work with different models.
Correct. So what happens here is, let's say people have a stereotype, or maybe this definition of beauty which people have is, let's say, a particular color, a particular body type, particular shape, particular hair. I mean, beauty in itself is a very fluid as an idea, and beauty is different to everyone. I personally try not to get into that stereotype
or generalize
generalize it.
Only skinny people can be
no, I do not believe into that. Yes, so I've been working with people with all kinds of color, be it body type. Let's say I am not someone who will stick to whatever these stereotypes are. To me, an artist is an artist. You are someone who have to enhance, be it however the way they look, or let's say someone who's not generally doesn't fit into the parameters of people. So I am not someone who, and that I feel everyone should be doing that. You need to work around with people with an openness.
Definitely. I mean, that is what I guess will push you to explore new things, right?
Yes.
If you restrict yourself to certain boundaries, then I guess you're limiting your expertise or maybe your potential. Just to put it across, like if you don't know how to shoot a certain person of certain shape, definitely there is somebody else who is doing it.
Yeah, definitely. And with the times currently a lot has been changing. I will not say it is not changing. There has been a lot of change for good, and I mean, let's just accept the fact that beauty can be any color, any shape. It is
Can
your
come in different
perception.
shapes, size,
Let's
and
not
color.
put a pin on beauty has to be a particular way only.
Well said, Mayur. Actually, this point of you talking about models from all caste, race, breed, skin, color, shape is certainly not what I was thinking about, but very beautifully said. Even and I correctly acknowledge this fact that obviously beauty comes in all shapes and form, and like you said, it is fluid. Very aptly said. So yeah, kudos to that, and I respect the way you think about people and how you plan to do your work so beautiful. So coming to our next, it's a very interesting set of questions. So we'll have a rapid fire round. I hope you are ready with your answers, because I won't give you time, because the next question will be like this. So I've come across some 10 questions which are relevant to you. So let's start with the rapid fire round with Mayur. So the first question: what's your favorite camera brand?
Nikon.
Natural light or artificial light?
Natural light, absolutely.
Candid shots or post portrait?
Portraits, I would pick.
Okay. Any favorite lens?
85 for now, but and a versatile lens, I would say 24-70.
So you prefer studio or outdoor shoots?
Both.
Anyone?
Outdoors.
Any favorite genre of photography that you'd like to take on?
I've been wanting to try astro photography.
Okay. What is that?
You shoot the moon, stars, sun, planets.
So you need different kind of lens?
Yes, it is a
Telescopic lens?
yes.
Great. Seventh, I think this would be difficult. Who is your favorite role model in photography?
There are a lot of role models which I mean, not having a formal education, then your role models keep on changing. But then there's this amazing woman I've been assisting for quite some time, Anushka Menon. She's my favorite because firstly there is a lot of struggle that she had to go through being a woman. uh, People are not very open to working around women photographers.
Okay.
So there's a lot of stereotype that she's already breaking.
Okay.
To begin with, then her work style is absolutely fantastic. That is what impresses me. Then I try to reach out to her, and I mean, someone with that kind of expertise being that open, yeah, you can just walk onto your set. And I think it's been 10 years or 8 7 8 years I've been assisting her and learning a lot from her. So even when she's around here in India or anywhere, if there's some shoot happening, and if I mean, she can let me be on set, she'll just give me a call, because also it is a learning curve for me. So
I see the
definitely.
way you, when you're talking, I see the way you respect her work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And great, kudos to that. So I think we discussed that. So natural taken shots or post process?
Naturally taken shots, obviously.
Any dream model or celebrity you want to work?
A lot of them actually.
Anyone? One model and one celebrity.
One model, I would say Miranda Kerr. Celebrity, Ranveer definitely interests me a lot. So Ranveer Singh. Yes.
Ranveer Singh, if you are listening to this, Mayur wants to work with you. Hopefully this comes true, and
let's hope this comes true.
True. One word to describe your photography.
My photography style is very clean and
one word,
sleek.
So thanks, Mayur. This is our final segment of the podcast. Would like to end this podcast on a very good note. So as you definitely know, this podcast was started with the sole intention so that our listeners, our audience, our viewers can get familiar with different industries, how people have performed, how people have upskilled, have entered this industry and made a name for themselves. Also, the whole agenda was to inspire and make them aware that there are different career options that you can pursue and success and achieve success as well. So I would like you to address them and and motivate them that how they can, if at all they are planning to enter the photography business, how can they excel. So some last key inspiring moments from Mayur Narangikar to our audience.
Please do not get stuck with I do not have a particular camera, I do not have a particular. Photography is all about how you see things or how you want people to see what your perception is. Be it your phone camera or be it any camera. Take pictures, keep taking pictures, and try to show people what you want to show. Don't just, I mean, take a random picture and post it and then say, I'm work your way around it. Keep shooting. Please do not get stuck into, I do not have this equipment and I do not have that equipment. If you get stuck into that, it is just making reasons to it. So
would you suggest them to do any formal like you have a workshop coming? I'm pretty sure they would be contacting you.
Yes.
We will display his number and email ID in our description, so please ensure that you contact him and get to know about this workshop. But other than that, do you think any formal education is needed to become a photographer?
See, again, if you I mean, this is again knowledge that you need about. If it has to be education into photography, I mean, there are, I would divide it again into two. There is business aspect to it, there's technical aspect to it. Technical aspect you will learn over a period of time. But then if you are wanting to get education, I would say get education about how you represent this as a business, because no one teaches that here in India. So if you want education, let it be about how to be a
Handle this as a
successful
full-fledged
photographer.
business.
Yes.
So thanks, Mayur. Let's end this session on a very good note. Thanks for coming in and we had this lovely talk.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
I wish you all the best for your
Thank you
future
so much.
endeavors, and hopefully we'll see that shoot with Ranveer Singh and
let's hope.
Miranda Kar.
Let's hope that happens.
Yes. On that note, we'll close this session. So thank you guys for listening to our podcast. I hope that you found value in this discussion with Mayur Narangikar, and we hope to continue such inspiring conversations going forward. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you like such inspiring content, because we'll be having such conversations from people across industries, across different professions, across different fraternities, so that we can bring you more such inspiring content. And definitely, please share this episode with someone from your family and friends who need this. So we look forward to address you in the next podcast. Thanks for watching our channel, Inspire with me, Pratik Pai. Thank you.